great pleasure to introduce Paul Southern, Managing Director at Central Hall. But myself and Paul have worked together off and on for a few decades now. And I was going to first ask, when was the first time we worked together?
I was introduced to White Light approximately 2000, 2001. I was MD of a company that were doing parties, and we needed a company to come in and do some unusual, interesting lighting and decor. And White Light at the time, I believe, were looking to get into the corporate market.
That's right.
So it was a fusion of the two, coming from theatrical side from yourselves, and the company I had was more corporate. So we mixed the two.
Yeah, it was my first experience of shared Christmas parties.
Yeah, every night, through the night, the next day, same again.
Here we go. So we've been working with you here for about 6-7 years now, and the variety of events in here is quite phenomenal, isn't it? What sort of would you say was an average day in Central Hall?
It gets very clouded. What do we do most of? The things that people talk about are the big shows like Christmas and New Year's Eve events, or the James Corden shows, or those are the ones that people see. But the bread and butter tend to be the conferences, the things that need to be exactly right because there are serious messages being sent across. But there is no regular day.
Yeah. What, in 3 words, could you sum up working with White Light?
Innovation, I think, has always been the case right back from the parties. Technical knowledge and support, I think those probably are 3.
And
if I had longer to think about it, I might go into some more.
And here's another question for you then, just to finish up, because White Light's 50 years old, and the whole creative industry is completely different from when John Simpson founded the business in the 70s to now. What would you say has been the biggest change that you've seen in your career so far?
I think the biggest change has been the knowledge of the clients. I think back when we talked about the all-inclusive parties, that was new innovation. That was about getting people to accept something new. These days, people expect to get broadcast quality events, no matter how much they spend. So I think it's client knowledge and client expectation. I think that's the biggest. People were accepting lots of things in the old days because it was all new. It's not new anymore. The next 2 years will be getting back to the levels of business that we were getting prior to March 2020. There's a lot being said about hybrids events are the way for the future. I think the hybrid events are the way for the next couple of years until people can get back to having events where they can all meet in the same room and converse directly. I think hybrid events are the stopgap, or the way we're looking at it, having a Zoom or a Teams meeting with some people at the event and some people not at the event. I think that is very short term, and that's what people have been talking about as hybrid events.
I tend to agree that I think it's everybody will want to come back into the room as quickly as possible and interact as humans like to do.